What is going on, YouTube? It is your boy Blake Got Takes coming back at you with another video, trying to bang out these videos for you guys, trying to keep content fresh, trying to produce stuff as it comes out. Today I'm going to be talking about the Western Conference predictions that I think will happen this year in the 2021 NBA season. I will also be going over a little bit of what I saw last night. Last night, if you did not know, was the first set of games of the NBA. We had the Bucks and Nets, and then we had the Lakers and the Warriors face off. So let's go ahead and get right into this. I think it should be fun. Let's go ahead and get into this, y'all. I got the 15th seed already up. Houston Rockets, y'all know. I think the Rockets are a really good team. I think they are a really good team this year. They're a huge developmental team. I'm not entirely sure what they should do with John Wall. If it were up to me, I would buy him out. John Wall is way too good of a basketball player to be riding the bench or getting low minutes because of a developmental team who is stacked at the position he plays. Jalen Green's going to need a lot of minutes. There are going to be a lot of players fighting for minutes on that team, and John Wall probably shouldn't be one of them. If I were them, I would ship him off to someone like the Clippers for picks, even though the Clippers just gave all their picks to Oklahoma City. Unfortunate. For players, anything. I'd be looking to get rid of John Wall. Buy him out, let him just walk. I don't know what he's making. I know it's a lot, and he's not going to turn that down, so he's only going to be on your books for longer. Other than that, I think the Rockets are going to be a developmental team this year. In the West, it's not the place for developmental teams. You got to be ready to go, and you got to be firing on all cylinders. I think they can win some games. I think they'll be a fun team to watch. However, I think they will struggle when it comes to playing the big dogs and also winning close games. And that's why I got them at my 15th seed. Let's go ahead and move on to the 14th seed. I'm rocking with the Sacramento Kings. As bad as I want them to move into like a play-in or playoff spot, I don't think they did what it took this offseason to get them there. They didn't get rid of Marvin Bagley, who seems to be a bit of a locker room cancer. They drafted Davion Mitchell when they just drafted Tyrese Halliburton, and their best player is De'Aaron Fox. So your best player is a point guard. You just drafted a shooting guard who was showing a lot of promise, and then you draft another point guard at the 9th pick. I don't know what they were doing. I don't know what they were thinking. I don't know what their plan is. Davion Mitchell is a really good player in my eyes. Don't get me wrong. It's just the wrong player for the wrong team at the wrong time. He's been playing really good, and he could give them some valuable minutes off the bench, but what's that going to do for you in the West? Having a rookie give you valuable minutes off the bench. Maybe they're thinking De'Aaron Fox is walking this offseason or next offseason whenever his contract ends. I don't see that happening. I'm not sure what they're doing with their organization right now. I believe Luke Walton is still their coach. He's not the guy. I'll go ahead and tell him he's not the guy. It's just that they could even be the 15th seed. I might put the Houston Rockets over them. The only reason I'm not is because they have a guy like De'Aaron Fox. They have a guy like Buddy Hield. They have guys like Rashawn Holmes. They have guys that are solid NBA players who are going to win them games. Probably not many, but are going to win them games more than the Houston Rockets. I just have more faith in them. I don't know what they're going to do with Marvin Bagley or any of the other players. Harrison Barnes could be on the move. He's a veteran guy who could really help some teams win championships right now. However, he's stuck in Sacramento. At the 13th seed, I'm going to rock with the San Antonio Spurs. The San Antonio Spurs, to me, are doing a perfect rebuild. They got a bunch of young guys, like the one on the screen here, Josh Primo. I think he might be the youngest player in the NBA. He's definitely younger than me. I think he's maybe 19, young 19, just turned 19, something like that. He showed a lot of promise in college. He's really fluid with the ball, can work off ball, plays good defense, gives you everything you want in a young guy. I think he'll have the chance to develop along with Derek White and the point guard who's skipping my mind right now, DeJounte Murray. Don't know why that took me so long. They'll have a lot of good young guys that develop, Devin Vassell as well. It's going to be a really fun team to watch. They could be a team that surprises us and they jump up into a play-in spot. You never know with Pop. You never know what he's going to do. You never know how he's going to change the team. You never really know what's going to happen. You don't even know if Josh Primo is going to get minutes. I bet he will because he's a very good, talented player. But yeah, I'm going to rock with them at the 12th seed, 13th seed, which with the ability to move up. I don't think they're gonna move much lower than the 13th seed. I think this is the perfect spot for them. I don't think it's going to be a bad year for them necessarily. I think it's a developmental year, a rebuild year. They fall a little bit, they get another good draft pick, then boom, next year they hit, and they're in the playoffs again. It's that easy. Spurs at the 13th seed. At the 12th seed, I have the Minnesota Timberwolves. This is another team that I severely want to throw into a play-in spot. They are not a playoff team, in my opinion, in the West, but I want to throw them in the play-in so bad. I can't do it. They haven't showed me anything over the years to warrant me putting them in the play-in spot. This year, however, they can change. It's all about time played for D'Angelo Russell. They have Cat. They have Anthony Edwards, who apparently just grew 2 inches out of nowhere. I don't know how you do that. That's unbelievable. You have Cat, the most talented center in the league. D'Angelo Russell needs to play games. They all need to play together. They have a good team rolling. They have a bunch of good veterans like Patrick Beverley coming in. I think they brought in Ricky Rubio, brought in Tashawn Prince. Guys that can just go in, do the dirty work, get some minutes while the other guys are resting. Bring in Karl-Anthony Towns again, get some buckets. I think this is a prove it year for Karl-Anthony Towns and the Minnesota Timberwolves. If they don't perform very well, he could be on the up and out. Unfortunately, he's been there his whole career, and he says he wants to stay there. But if they can't put the pieces around him to win, especially in the West, I wouldn't be mad at him for leaving. However, I think he's going to give it his all this year. I think they're going to give it a good push, a good run. Unfortunately, I think they will end up in the 12th seed, and that's just my prediction. There's just too many good teams in the West. I don't think they'll do what it takes to win those big games against big teams in big times, in clutch time. And that's why I got them at the 12th seed. At the 11th seed, another team that should probably be a playoff team by now, the New Orleans Pelicans. I don't think they're going to have Zion for the first month. He's looking out of shape as ever. He broke his foot, so, you can't really blame him. You just expect him to do a little bit more than he has. I saw a commercial. I think it was a Mountain Dew commercial, and he was looking hefty. He went viral on Twitter whenever he showed up for his press conferences. He don't look in shape. However, Zion, he's one of the more incredible players we've seen in a long time, especially the season he had last year. It's all about games played. Once again, a guy who cannot stay healthy. It seems like every year he's rolling, he's rocking, the Pelicans are doing good, and then Zion gets hurt, and it turns into a dumpster fire. Brandon Ingram, however, I think is going to shine in this first month or so whenever Zion's out. I really like Brandon Ingram as a player. I honestly think he should be the main guy on their team, and Zion should be like a huge secondary, like a center. I think Zion is a center. He's just a small center. He's more athletic than any other 5 in the league. He can shoot. He can beat people off the dribble no matter who you put on him. He would be a dominant center with Brandon Ingram controlling the ball. They brought in Devontae Graham to spray them threes. They got a guy like Nickeil Alexander-Walker, who I think is due for a breakout season now that they got rid of Lonzo. He's going to slide into that point guard role very well. He showed last year that he can go off some games for like 30 points. He's a very good young player. They got some pieces. They just got to put it together. However, I think they might struggle more down the line and also in big games. I don't think they really have what it takes to beat like a Lakers or a Nuggets or anything like that. I don't see them having a deep push this year. They could make it into the play-in. I'm not gonna count them out of a play-in spot. I got them at the 11 seed. I think they can do it. At the 10 seed, I got the Oklahoma City Thunder. This is a team that I fell in love with over the past year or so. I love what Sam Presti's doing. He's treating real-life NBA like it's 2K. He is trading this guy, that guy. He's bringing in veterans. He's dishing them all for second-round picks. He's bringing in this guy. He'll dish them all for a first-round pick, 1-year rentals. He's doing everything that you would hope a GM would, and he's capitalizing on his picks as well. He's not missing. Josh Giddey looks like he is a tremendous player. He's big. He can handle the ball. He can drive. Might have to work on the jump shot a little bit, He's great for the media. He seems like a funny dude. They drafted Pokashevsky, who's probably, in my opinion, the most interesting player in the league right now. He is a 7-foot shooting guard. His jump shot, he's got probably the smoothest looking jump shot in the NBA, other than maybe like Klay Thompson, which we haven't seen Klay Thompson in a while, so he might be first. His jump shot's so smooth. He's long, he's lanky, he can defend. He does a little bit of everything, and he's so diverse and he's so versatile. It's gonna be exciting watching him this year. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, you don't even gotta mention him. He's one of the best young players in the league right now. They had a major move for him. What they saw in him was exactly what they are getting. Like, you can't blame them for trading Paul George for him. He's their star. He's their guy. Darius Bazley. I think Darius Bazley, he's on a slow incline. I think this year Darius Bazley is going to be very good. He's got the jump shot rolling. He's a great defender. He reminds me a lot of like a Danilo Gallinari, or like a Lamar Odom, but Lamar Odom in his good times, like the mid range, the defending, a little bit of everything. He can bring you intensity. He can bring you buckets. He's got it all, man. I think this Oklahoma City Thunder has little pieces of everything. They got Derek Favors at the center right now, which he's just a fill-in for right now. By the end of the season, he can be moved. By mid-season, he can be moved for whatever 2 second-round picks or whatever Sam Presti finds in the garbage for him. But yeah, I think the Oklahoma City Thunder are going to make a small playoff push, maybe even win the play-in game and win a couple games in a series, depending on who they play, of course. If they come up against like the Lakers or something, I don't know if they might get swept. However, I think it'll be exciting to watch Oklahoma City Thunder this year. At the 9 seed, I got the Memphis Grizzlies. I have them making a small slip from where they were at last year. Ja Morant, if y'all don't know already, he is my favorite player in the league. He's just so explosive, so fun to watch. He has so much character, so much charisma. I love these jerseys, by the way, that they got on in the picture that I'm showing. It's all about Jaren Jackson, their number 2 guy. It's another one of these players where it's just minutes played, games played, killing him. He is a extremely talented player. He's an extremely good player. He's a player that could boost them into a playoff spot. It's just about, is he going to play, and how many games is he going to play? If they have Jaren Jackson for a full season with the roster that they have right now, I could see them being an 8 seed. I could see them being a 7 seed. I can see them easily being in the playoffs and maybe even making a run. I think this is a really good, young, talented team. I love what Dylan Brooks brings for them. They did get rid of Grayson Allen, who was kind of like their spark plug, oddly enough, in the playoffs. He would come in off the bench, hit 2 threes, 3 threes, and then leave, give them a boost, and then they'd be able to keep trucking. But yeah, I think the Grizzlies are a good team this year. I have them at the 9 seed. However, with Jaren Jackson playing a full season, with their team improving like I think it will. I don't know about the Zaire Williams pick. That was kind of odd to me. He's kind of like the same player as Brandon Clark, and Brandon Clark has not really showed much in terms of what I've seen from him. He could take a step up this year, and that would make this team even better. And yeah, Grizzlies at the 9 seed. I have the Portland Trailblazers at the 8 seed for this year in the 2021 season. It's not bad for them. I just don't think that they're that good of a team. They added Larry Nance, which is going to be an underrated move, in my opinion, this season. However, I just don't think they're always going to be a good playoff team, or they're always going to be a good regular season team. I'm sorry. It's just all about what they do in the playoffs. I think they may worry less about the regular season this year and maybe focus more onto the playoffs. That's why I had them slip into the 8 seed. But also, I just think there are 8 teams. I think there are 7 teams better than them this year. They didn't get that much better, and especially if they move like CJ. If they move CJ and get Ben Simmons, I could see them being a top 5 seed. That's just the impact I think Ben Simmons has over having two small guards and in C.J. McCollum and Damian Lillard. Instead, you have Ben Simmons and Damian Lillard, who are kind of like opposites. Plus, you have a guy like Anthony Simons who can step in, and I believe he can do what CJ does for him. Of course, CJ is an all-star caliber player. Anthony Simons is a young guy who can give you buckets. He can be a sixth man. He can come in and play if Ben Simmons wants to run the 3 or the 4 or whatever, the 5 even. I think that moving on from CJ would make them a much better team, especially if they're getting Ben Simmons in return. However, right now, I can't put them at a top 5 seed. I think they'll slide. I think they'll drop unless Dame, of course, does Dame things and CJ is rolling and their team just looks amazing in the regular season because teams really aren't playing tough in the regular season. They can move up. However, I think they're probably the 8th best team in the West, and that's why I put them in the 8th seed. As y'all can see, at the 7th seed, I got the Los Angeles Clippers without Kawhi Leonard. Even without him, I think they are a really good team. I was skeptical last year after they got hurt, or after Kawhi Leonard got hurt in the playoffs, but they impressed me. Everything that they did impressed me. They beat the Jazz, who were one of the better teams in the NBA. Paul George was doing his thing. Paul George was disgusting. Whenever Paul George is healthy, he is a really fun player to watch. He's so smooth. He can work on all 3 levels. He plays defense. He's a leader. He does a little bit of everything for him. Terrence Mann, he was electric. He was giving them 39 points. He was giving them 20 points. He was being consistent, and he was being good. If they bring in a guy like John Wall, he can contribute a lot for them. I think they're getting Serge Ibaka back this year. He was out in the whole playoffs. Luke Kennard started coming into his own. Maybe that like $19 million that he's making is finally going to start coming to fruition with him. He's a really good sharpshooter. He started getting into his rhythm in the playoffs, and maybe he'll carry that over into the season. This is a team that could easily be below the Trailblazers at the 8th seed or the 7th seed. They could even move up, in my opinion, depending on how the season's going, if a player gets injured or whatnot. However, I'm going to stick them at the 7th seed for now because I think they're still a really good playoff team, even without Kawhi Leonard. With Kawhi Leonard, they're probably a top 4 seed in the West, and that's no joke. But yeah, I'm gonna have them at the 7th seed for now. Yeah, 7th seed for the Los Angeles Clippers. At the 6th seed, if y'all couldn't already guess, I'm rocking with the Golden State Warriors. I think the Splash Bros are going to bring it back this year. Of course, I don't think Klay comes back till around Christmas time or maybe after Christmas. I'm not entirely sure what his ETA is. However, when he comes back, I think it'll take him a little bit, of course, to get into his rhythm, but he's still going to be Klay Thompson. He rarely dribbles. He's just going to be catch, shoot, catch, jab, shoot, catch, one dribble, shoot. It's not going to be too much different than what he does on a normal basis. They have guys like Wiggins who are coming into their own. They have guys like Jordan Poole. Jordan Poole has looked incredible in the preseason and last night versus the Lakers. Let's not forget, this was the first game of the NBA season was last night. The Golden State Warriors played the Lakers in prime time and beat them. They beat them good too. They dropped, I think, almost 140 points on them, 130 points. Stephen Curry struggled too. Stephen Curry struggled in the first half, I think even through the first 3 quarters, and they still pulled it out. Jordan Poole could be a like Jordan Clarkson-esque player, but even with a bigger role this year, which is kind of scary. They still have Draymond, who's going to defend every single position. He's not going to give you anything offensively. He might hit a 3 here and there. He might give you a layup. He's going to set good screens. He's going to play defense. He's going to be the team captain on defense and on offense. He's going to be the on-court coach. Draymond Green brings to the floor what 99% of other players don't. He has this X factor about him that makes teams better. Whenever they get Klay back, they'll have their 3 guys. They're going to be rolling. Then whenever they get Wiseman back, I think they'll be a really good team. They may even be like a 5 seed, in my opinion. I don't think they're a top 4 seed because of just Klay coming back and getting used to things, and they're still like a young team looking for a lot of contribution from younger players. However, anything's possible. I have them at the 5 seed for now, which is like crazy good compared to where they were Last year, I think they won in the play-in, and then the year before that, they were terrible because it was just Curry. I'm excited to see Klay Thompson play some basketball again. Klay Thompson is one of my favorite players to watch. It's just he's so smooth. He's so efficient. He can just go off in a quarter, and then he's good. He'll play his defense. He'll hit a few more shots after that, but he got his in. He's a fun guy to listen to talk. Any podcast he's on, I'll listen to. But yeah, I'm rocking with the Golden State Warriors at 5, even higher if Klay Thompson comes out and he has like a Kevin Durant-esque year where they come off an Achilles injury and they look even better than before. At the 4 seed, I think I have my dark horse this year, and that's the Dallas Mavericks. It seems like people are kind of sleeping on the Dallas Mavericks because of the way Kristaps Porzingis played in the playoffs last year. I think Kristaps Porzingis is a good player. Luka Doncic, of course, is a generational talent. He's probably the best young player in the NBA right now. He's unstoppable. However, I think if he develops his playmaking game a little bit more, his team all around will be better, and I'm predicting that's what's going to happen this year because Luka knows he can get his shot anytime he wants. He knows he can do whatever offensively. He can draw fouls. He gets to his spots, hits his step backs. It's just about getting his other teammates involved. And whenever he learns to do that, I think they'll be a very good team. I wanted to make a slight correction. This is my 5 seed. Not home court advantage, unfortunately, for the Dallas Mavericks. They are my dark horse, however. I think they can make a deep playoff run this year. They don't necessarily need home court advantage. I just don't. I think there are 4 teams better than them this year. I think I said 4 seed at the beginning. They brought back guys like Tim Hardaway Jr. They got Jalen Brunson there for a spark off the bench. They brought in Reggie Bullock, who's just going to do the same thing Tim Hardaway Jr. does. He's gonna be there for Luka whenever he gets those open shots because Luka draws so much attention. I think Kristaps Porzingis, like I said earlier, he's going to have an electric season. He's just a big shooting guard who can shoot from anywhere. Hopefully this year he kind of rounds out his game, becomes more defensive, gets in the post, becomes like New York Knicks Kristaps Porzingis because that was a different type of player that we hadn't seen before. The unicorn, they called him. He's not really much of the unicorn anymore. He's kind of just a big guy who stretches the floor like crazy and can get some blocks sometimes. If he turns into that New York Knicks Porzingis, however, I think that they could be a 4 seed. I think they could be a 4 seed who makes a deep run in the playoffs. And that's just going to be my prediction for this year. However, right now, as they stand, I'm going to have them at the 5 seed. At the 4 seed, I'm going to go with the Jamal Murray-less Denver Nuggets. They could slide. I'm not going to lie. They could slide. Jamal Murray is a player who did a lot for them. He does a little bit of everything. He's a big guard who plays defense, can shoot, play makes, everything. However, with Jokic, all things are possible. He's the best center that I've watched in the game with my own eyes. He can make any shot from the weirdest angle. He shoots threes, rainbow fadeaways. He's gotten even leaner this year. He's the best playmaking center I've ever seen. He's dominant in the post. He can lead a team. And then they have guys on the side that I have pictured here, like Michael Porter Jr., who I think is due for a breakout season, probably a guy who's a candidate for the most improved player. They have guys like Bones Highland, who's going to get a lot of opportunity. I think Bones Highland is a really good player, especially in the ISO sort of situation. He might be more of a sixth man, but I think he'll get minutes this year to where he'll have opportunities to be the starting point guard with the ball in his hands and just creating magic. I think he'll do a great job at it. They have guys. Campazzo was a big guy for them in the playoffs last year. They brought in a lot of good guys. They have Jokic. I think they're primed for a 4 seed or a 5 seed, 6 seed, somewhere in there. I don't think they're a top 3 team, especially without Jamal Murray. With Jamal Murray, we could be talking. However, it's just Jokic and the guys around him, which I think the guys around him are going to do very good this year. That's why I have them projected so high. I think it's just going to be open shots and then opportunities. And I think they have the guys that will capitalize on those opportunities. So I got them at the 4 seed. At the 3 seed, the Los Angeles Lakers, I probably would have put them at the 2 seed until I saw what I saw last night. I'm not going to judge it all based off one game. They're still the 3 seed. That's home court advantage. they're a top 3 team in the West. That's probably a top 3 team in the NBA, or a top 5 team in the NBA, which with the potential to be the best team in the NBA. They're, if you wanted to really break it down, they probably have the most talented roster in the NBA in terms of accolades, just raw skill. They probably are the best team. I just don't know how it's going to all fit, and we saw how that happened last night. Russell Westbrook struggled tremendously. I'm not going to base Russell Westbrook's season. I know a lot of Lakers fans are going to come for his head. I'm not going to base Russell Westbrook's season off of one game. There will be games this season that they specifically win because of Russell Westbrook, and you can mark my words on that. He will have those games where he has his 25, 15, 15, and Lakers fans love him. I think he'll be a good player this year. He's just got to, I don't know. He was just shooting them shots like crazy last night, and they just weren't falling. And sometimes it's like that, especially for Russell Westbrook. Sometimes it's just really, really, really not like that. AD looked okay. I want him to be more. I always want more out of AD. It seems like he kind of wants to take the back seat all the time to LeBron, when LeBron's at a point in his career where he needs to take the back seat. However, LeBron looked phenomenal last night. I don't know if y'all watched, but LeBron, especially through the first half, was unstoppable. He was getting to his spots. He was hitting mid-ranges. He was hitting threes. He was driving. He was running the fast break. LeBron looked phenomenal, which, I mean, we're not surprised. He's been doing it for 19 years at this point. It's just about, I think AD should be the number one guy. I think Anthony Davis should be an MVP candidate. I think he should be a number one guy on the Lakers team with all of these other guys, really good, talented guys who can get him the ball. And then also, whenever AD is creating so much distraction, they can get their own. They get their one-on-ones, and nobody's stopping Russell Westbrook in a one-on-one. LeBron James is just bodying past you in a one-on-one. Carmelo Anthony, if you give him one-on-one, he's taking you to the mid-range, he's giving you the jab, he's giving you the turnaround pull-up. I mean, this team is unstoppable if AD can be the number one guy that they know he can be and that they want him to be. It's just all about execution, really. At the 2 seed, I have the Utah Jazz. The Utah Jazz are a team to me that are really good. They're really solid. They're well-rounded. They were, I believe, the 1 seed in the West last year. Lost in the playoffs to a hurt Clippers team. However, the regular season is different. I think they can make a playoff push this year. It's just all about getting what they want out of Rudy Gobert. Rudy Gobert has been there's times in the game where he's not useless, but they just can't play him. Whenever a team's running 5 out, and that's what the Clippers did. They ran 5 out. They made Rudy Gobert defend on the perimeter. They made him move his feet. They sprayed threes, and that's how you beat them, with Rudy Gobert in the game. And whenever you're paying a guy max money and he can't be in the game in the final 2 minutes to lock up and defend, especially when a team's running small, which is very popular in the league now, it's a bit of a liability. He's great. He's a fantastic defender. Other than that, he's probably the best one in the league at just playing defense, stopping his man, being like the anchor on the defensive side, getting you some. He'll have his flashes of like 25-point games and whatnot, but getting his usual like 15, and like 6 maybe. Another guy that's going to be big for them is Mike Conley. Another guy is Bogdanovich. They're just going to need guys like that to step up and play their roles. Mike Conley last year was pretty good. You want a little bit more out of him. You want him to play like sort of like not exactly a CP3 role where he absolutely changes the organization, but a CP3 role in he makes the team better when he's on the court at all times. He's facilitating. He's doing the dirty work. He's got the high IQ. He's the team leader when he's on the court. It's just he doesn't really bring that, really, in my opinion. Donovan Mitchell, however, is a fantastic player who can lead them to the playoffs easily. He's one of my favorite players in general right now. Probably 1 behind Ja or 2 behind Ja. I think it goes Ja, LeBron, and then Donovan Mitchell maybe. He can do everything. He's athletic. He can shoot. He reminds me a lot of Dwayne Wade in his prime. He's unreal to watch. He has games where he just spazzes in the playoffs, which is the most important time to spaz. In if you think about it, he led them through the bubble whenever they went on that run, dropping like 40, 50-point games. I think the Jazz are a really good team. It's just all about the supporting cast, really. Like last year. At the 1 seed, I have the Phoenix Suns. I think the Phoenix Suns did nothing but get better this season. They have they have a bad taste in their mouth, and I think they'll come for revenge this year. They lost in the finals. It was Devin Booker's first time. It was DeAndre Ayton's first time. It was Mikal Bridges' first time. It was Chris Paul's, not his first time in the finals, I don't think, but his first. No, it was his first time in the finals. Yeah, it was Chris Paul's first time in the finals, and they lost. That's a lot of talent to lose a finals, and the way they did it, they weren't performing very well. Chris Paul looked not like Chris Paul. He seemed to be hurt or something. I think they'll come for revenge this year. They signed Landry Shamet to a big contract. I don't know exactly what they see in Landry Shamet. They didn't sign DeAndre Ayton, which I find weird. However, I think he'll get his contract eventually. Why would you sign Landry Shamet before you sign your marquee center, who's the perfect guy for the point guard you have at the moment, and the perfect center you would want to have in the future? He can shoot, plays defense, he can get in the post, runs the pick and roll well, can pick and pop. He does a little bit of everything on the defensive and offensive side of the ball. Why would you sign Landry Shamet before him? I don't really understand that. But they have a plan, I'm sure. I think they'll finish in the 1 seed this year. And that's going to do it for me, y'all. I appreciate y'all for sticking with me. I appreciate y'all for watching. Please be sure to like, subscribe, comment. Let me know what y'all want to see from this. Be on the lookout for the awards for this year, my awards predictions. I will also be doing I might try to do a weekly recap of the NBA just to get more content out for you guys. And, yeah, keep it easy.